What's going on, guys? I'm Pete, and this is Retro Game Attic. Most everyone knows Sega and their tumultuous console history. They are a beloved company and are responsible for some amazing video game hardware and tons of awesome video game IPs. There's Sonic, Outrun, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, Shenmue, Alex Kidd, and the list goes on. Their massive influence can still be felt today in the video game industry since they managed to successfully transition from hardware and software to focusing primarily on software development and publishing post 2001 when the Dreamcast was discontinued. So allow me to take you back to the mid 2000s. I, like many others, was still in awe that so many Sega properties were popping up on non-Sega hardware. Like, I get it, they had to go third party to survive, but it was just so weird to me playing Sonic Advance games on my Nintendo GBA. Less than 10 years ago, we were brawling in the school playground over the Sega versus Nintendo debate. But here we were, and these GBA titles, while not as iconic as the Genesis Sonic games, they were giving them a run for their money. I fully accepted that Sega Games Net was cast far and wide, but little did I know at the time that Sega dipped their toes into different physical hardware. In comes the Sega Toys iDog World toy line. In 2005, Sega Toys released the iDog electronic dog toy, initially in Japan, but it also made it stateside into Europe. It was designed and manufactured by Sega Toys, but some variations and releases were handled by Hasbro and Tiger Electronics. The iDog was a small plastic robot that resembled a dog with a sort of flat face, affixed with 7 multicolored LED lights. The front legs were posable, it had a light sensor atop its head and a microphone on the bottom. The head also rotated and the ears moved up and down to simulate dancing. The dog's nose was also an input/on and off button, and it was powered by 2 AA batteries. It also featured a 3.5mm audio input jack, so you can connect an input device such as an MP3 player, and it can play music through its internal speaker. In addition to being a music device, it sort of doubled as a virtual pet. The owner's manual encouraged you to give it plenty of love and attention. You did this by petting or waving your hand over the top of its head so the light sensor picks up on it, interacting by pressing the nose button, and eventually the dog would develop a personality. Its mood would also change based on how much attention you would give it. You were able to feed your dog music by playing audio via the headphone jack or just playing it nearby. The microphone would detect the music and its ears would perk up to indicate that it was listening, and would periodically dance and flash its LED lights. The iDog would change its personality based on the type of music played. Red LEDs would illuminate for rock and punk, green for dance and techno, and yellow for hip hop and rap. The iDog had several iterations and was released in a variety of colors and styles, including the original white, black, pink, red, which was a Target exclusive. There was a Dalmatian pattern, cow, Spider-Man, aka Spy Dog, Kiss brand pattern, as well as others. iDog was even featured by McDonald's and Burger King in the form of fast food toys, so this thing was pretty popular. The iDog was followed up by the iDog Pup by Hasbro and the iDog Mini by Sega Toys in 2005 and 2006, which were both essentially mini versions of the original iDog. There were also additional iAnimals in the iDog World toy line, such as the iCat, the iSea, which was the penguin, the iTurtle, and what might be the goofiest of them all, the iFish. I mean, just look at this thing. It's so ridiculous and it seems like a joke. I totally love it though. It resembles more of a fish skeleton rather than a live fish, which is pretty brutal, especially since the rest of these iAnimals were modeled after their living counterparts. The iFish features LEDs on both sides of its face, the fins are input buttons, it can also spin in a 360-degree motion, and the fin can swing side to side. There are rumors that your music's device cable could get tangled up in the tail if it got caught though. The iPodification of a fish is so hilarious to me. It doesn't look like something that was released, let alone come from such a beloved company like Sega. The iDog and all of the iAnimals' name and design aesthetic were clearly influenced by the popularity of the Apple iPod, which was almost ubiquitous at the time. There was no shortage of iPod-esque accessories available at the time, which featured a lowercase i preceding the name of the product, as well as the shiny white plastic casing. I mean, even Nintendo was influenced by the iPod design aesthetic with the Wii and the DS Lite. Now, I was 20 years old in 2005, and I definitely was not the target demographic for these things, so these flew completely under my radar. I'm not gonna lie though, when I first discovered the iDog, I thought it was just another crappy mid-2000s toy, but following my research and seeing it in action, I can safely say that it was a pretty cool little device for its time. I also like that they went all in and released a whole slew of these iAnimals. Sega was no stranger to toys and non-gaming electronics though. They had an IR communicator device, the IR7000, and the Sega Pods electronic toy game in the 90s, which were both awesome in their own right. Even though these iAnimals weren't a pure Sega product per se, they definitely carried on the wild 1990s Sega creativity and spirit. These weird gizmos are just a total time capsule and products of their era. I cannot see something like this that relies so heavily on MP3 playback, or even just a non-Bluetooth speaker being successful today. I'm sure I passed over plenty of iDogs at various thrift stores, but I am totally going to keep my eyes peeled for one of those, or an iFish, next time I'm game hunting. Scratch that, I am getting an iFish. They're just so dumb looking, I need one. And that's a little bit of history behind Sega's dancing robotic animals. Are there any other cool, random Sega items that you know about? Please be sure to drop them in the comments. I love hearing from you all. Thank you guys so much for watching Retro Game Attic. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you score some good gaming finds out there. Later.